Operation is called addition and subtraction. Now let's look at this question. Let's assume we are given something like this. We have to add them and subtract them instead. How do you go about it? The first thing you have to do is that this 12 you have to convert it to basic form. So converting to basic form, in this you should have 12 will be 4 times 3. No, 4 times 3, one perfect square and non-perfect square. We did that earlier. Plus what? Plus root 3. And you know that square root of 4 is what? Is 2. Then the 3 you put under root plus what? Plus root 3. Now there's an invisible 1 here. So you said 2 plus 1 will give us what? 3. Both of them have root 3. You what? You join them together. You take one out of them. So this is your final answer. Let's look at the second one. Now we have 3 root 2. So there will be 3 root 2 minus root 18 is when you convert it, one perfect square and non-perfect square. Perfect square is 9, non-perfect square is 2. So these two will give 18. So you have 3 root 2 minus square root of 9 is what? Is 3. And these two you put in what? In the root. You now say 3 minus 3 is what? Is 0. 0 root 2. It means this 0 will multiply with 2, which is what? Which should give us 0. Just like saying 3 root 2 minus 3 root 2 will still give us what? Is 0. This is the final answer. If you have a minus a, you get what? You get 0. So that is that for this one. We are still going to look at some questions that you should solve under this. Now, when you have like combination of when addition and subtraction is combined together, how do you solve that particular? So we are going to take step after step. Now, let's assume you are given something like this. They gave you with 20 plus let's say with 45 plus root 125 minus, let me clean this side so that I can have enough space to write. So and here we have what? We have minus 2 root 80. Now how do you solve this now? This is 20. Now you have to convert each of them to basic form. So it means the knowledge of basic form is very important in solving something like this. So one perfect square and non-perfect square, for this is 4 times 5, because perfect square is 4, non-perfect square is 5. You go to this, you already know what this will be. This will be 9 times 5, because 9 times 5 is 45, which satisfies the rule. Y here will be 25 times what? Times 5. But 25 is a perfect square. 5 times 5 equals 25. Then 5 is not a non-perfect square. Then you have minus 2. For this one, so you have 16 times 5. 16 times what? Times 5 will give us 80, because this will be 5 plus square root of 9 is what? Is 3. Then you put this one in what? In root. Continue. Now this is what you have now. So what you're going to do now is that, why can't I make this one the way others are? So this is going to be 2 root 5 plus 3 root what? Root 5 plus 5 root 5 minus 2 times 4 is minus 8. This is minus 8 root what? Root 5. So let's add them up. 2 plus 3, when you look at the number at the front, add them up, because both of them, all of them have root 5. So we're going to pick one of them. So 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. This is what you have. You have 2 plus 3, the number outside, plus 5 minus 8. 2 plus 3 is 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. So your final answer is 2. Because all of them have root 5, that will be 2 root what? 2 root 5. So this will be your final answer. So let's look at another one. Let me clear this. So you can put this down in your notes and or try solve it again. Let's look at another. There's another one I want us to look at here. And let's assume we are given something like this. You are given something like this. You have they gave you 3 root 2 minus root 32 plus root what? Root 50 so you have root what? Root 75. Hey, sorry for this. So we have here, you have root what? Root 75. Now what we're going to do here is that this is in basic form. There is no simplification with this. This should be 3 root 2 minus root 32 in basic form will be, 4 times 4 is 16. 16 is a perfect square. When you multiply it by 2, you get 32. Now problem is that students will like, look, how will I, you are just doing it like you already know what it is. Now what you're going to do is that I always tell you that always use a prime number to divide this thing, or non-perfect square. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, use it to divide it. When I use 2 to divide this, I'll get 16, and 16 is a perfect square. So it has satisfied the rule, one perfect square and non-perfect square. So that is how you go about it. When I use the same, this one is root 50, this is 50. Now this one also, when I use 2 to divide 50, I will get 25. It means 25 is a perfect square and 2 is non-perfect square. So the rule is satisfied already. So this 25 times what? Times 2. Then here it is, what is there? It's minus, that is there. Minus. So minus root 75, when you look at it, is 25 times 3. 25 times 3 will give, 25 is a perfect square, 3 is a non-perfect square. So when you check this very well, we have 3 root 2. 3 root 2 minus root 16 is 4. Then root what? Root 2 plus root 25 is what? Is 5. Then you put this one in what? In 2 minus this is 5 root what? Root 3. Now when you check very well, you can see 3 of them has root 2 at the back and this one has root 3. It means you are not going to add all of them together or subtract all of them together. You are going to do the operation for this, then you now join this one with it. You are not going to add it because the rules say that for addition and subtraction to take place, they must have the same number in their roots. So but here is 3, the other one are what? They are 2. Now let's do the simplification for this. 3 minus 8. My pen want to misbehave. So this is what it is. So this 3 here, this is it here. We have 3 somebody 1 naira, you're having 5 naira. If you pay, you are still going to have 4 naira. So it means this one here, they are 4. All of them, they have root 2. That is root 2 minus what? 5 root what? Root 3. You can't do this. This is the final answer. So this is that. Let's take one more before we end this particular lesson. Let's assume we are given something like this. Let's look at another one. They are addition and subtraction. They are very, very simple. There's no more there's not a lot of problem under them, but once you know the rules of convert something to basic form, then addition and subtraction will be what? Will be quite easy for you and will be very, very simple to go. So very simple for you to finish. Let's look at this. You have, let's say you have 2 root 135 minus 2 root what? Root 60 plus root what? Root 15 minus root what? Root 240. Now this is very critical. Now when I check this very well, if I use 5 to divide this thing, 135 divided by 5, 135 divided by 5, 5 here 1, 5 in 13 is what? Is 2. You mean that what? You mean that 3, 5 in 35 is what? Is 7. Now this is not a non-perfect square, but I can still get this from non-perfect square because 3 times 9 will give me 27. Now the reason why I'm going to like do this thing in a way that you understand is that sometimes the number they will give will be very, very large and using non-perfect square to divide them, you get a number that even have perfect square and non-perfect square. So I will advise you to just use it like that. This is what I'm going to do. Just follow what I'm doing now. For big numbers, what we will be doing is just small number. That's why it is easier for us to divide by non-perfect square and it give us perfect square. These ones are big number. Let's assume you have 2 here. When I use a non-perfect square to divide this, I use 5. So I got, this is 27. So plus I have this one with what? With 15. When I use 5 to divide this, 5 goes into 40. 5 times 8 is 24. My mark, my bio is doing something. 5 here 1. 5 here is what? Is 4. It means that what? It means that 4. 5 in 40 is 48. So here is 5 times 48. I'll show you what next to do. Now you know this 27, you can also change to a perfect square and non-perfect square. So I can do it at this 2. I'll go further like this. For you to understand this thing, 9 times 3 times 5. This is what you get. I'm right? This 5, this is it here. 9 times 3, 27. Perfect square and non-perfect square. You continue. 2. Perfect square and non-perfect square. You have simplified 4 times what? 4 times 3. This is how to do, in case you are giving big number, 15 minus, but if you understand how to do it straightforward without going through the step, no problem. So 48, you know 3 times 16 is 48, and 16 is a perfect square. So you can say 3 times 16 times what? Times 5. You can see how simple it is. Now, square root of 9, it is 3. So that 3 will multiply what is here. That will be 3 times 2, that is what? 6. Or so for those of us that may find it difficult to know what I'm doing here, let me just do this thing like this. And we just want even those that have phobia for mathematics to have understanding of this thing. So square root of 9 is 3. That 3 will multiply what is here. So you have 2 times 3. 2 times 3. Then you have your roots like this. This one is half of it now. So 3 times 5 is what? Is 15. Minus 2. You know, square root of 4 is 2. 2 times 2 times what? Times 2. Then square root, you have what? What you are left is 5 and what? And 3. That is 5 times 3. Now this one is already a non-perfect square. So you just leave it like that. So you are not multiplying anything with it. Now this one, square root of 16 is what? Is 4. So that will be, that 4 you bring it here. That will be 4. Then you have here, you have 3 times 5 is what? Is 15. You can see how simple this thing is. Just follow step after step. You're going to get it. 2 times 3 is what? Is 6. Root what? Root 15. Minus 2 times 2 is what? Is 4. Root what? Root 15. Then plus what? Plus root what? Root 15. Then minus 4 root what? Root what? Root 15. Now when you do this together, so the number, both all of them has root 15, so you can do like this: 6 minus 4. I'm taking the number outside. 6 minus 4, there's an invisible one here, plus 1, then minus what? Minus 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 minus 4 is minus 1. So what you have is minus 1 root what? Root 15. But you hardly see mathematician write like this. What they'll just write is what? Minus root what? Root 15. So this is your final answer. I hope you understand this. In next class, we move to multiplication and division of base number. So let's move on.